Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Anime Iceberg. I'm Megan,
And I'm Meg.
and we are here today to talk about Dr. Stone Episode 20, The Age of Energy.
Tsukasa plans a second attack after a few months of preparation. He has no idea what Senku and his kingdom are cooking up in the meantime.
I mean, that's an
Maybe they're
accurate
just like
description, but like
the way
Tsukasa
it's
wasn't
worded
in
is,
the
yeah,
episode. Well,
yeah.
he was in the episode,
He
but
was
it
in the
was like a
beginning, like
brief.
when he was planning when he was gonna attack. But that sounds,
There wasn't like the time skip in his neck of the
yeah.
woods. It's like the not much of a time skip either, but it's just watching the Kingdom of Science go through their stuff. So
Yeah,
I
we
don't know.
say 5 out of 10 for this episode description.
Accurate, but somewhat misleading.
Yes.
All right. This episode covered manga chapter 51, Sweets for the Stone World, and 52, Age of Energy.
Yeah, let's get into the episode. Tsukasa is coming up with a plan. We get this very funny, or we see Gen's imagining of um,
It's pretty
Tsukasa's
great.
plan. He she transformed into a Gen version of Tsukasa, and he tries to mimic him. But then we see the Rita Tsukasa planning when to attack, and basically he's gonna plan at the when the snow has thawed. Basically, it's what's the whole scene is to show when he's planning to attack, but then also that Senku's plan to make a cell phone is important because we see that Homura is watching them, but like she can't relay information immediately to them. Um, and so the Kingdom of Science, they need to get to work. And the first thing that they're gonna do is make cotton candy. Gen is very concerned. He's like, this is not gonna be helpful. And all the villagers are like, cotton candy, what's that? Um, and so we see them make a cotton candy machine. And also, not only are they doing that, but the whole village is now helping. They're all getting to work. And we learned that the cotton candy machine is not just to make cotton candy. Obviously, Senku has a plan. He's gonna make gold threads because they need it as part of their cell phone.
Yeah.
It's not okay. It's not a cell phone, but that's what they call it.
Communicator.
So,
Yeah.
yes, they're a communicator.
There
Um,
was there was somebody, I can't remember the YouTube channel, but somebody did tried to do this, like the cotton candy machine and using one for making gold threads. I have a little bit of beef with the way he went about it because by the end he's like, technically I can make it, but it's not good. It's not gonna do the trick. And I was like, you kind of didn't do it exactly the same way they did it in the show, but
mhm.
I don't know. And he first tried to pour molten metal into a regular cotton candy machine, which is made of plastic. But I think he did that just to prove like you just can't use a regular modern day cotton candy machine.
Yeah. Yeah, but they're not in modern day. They're in the Stone Age.
Exactly. So he then
And
made the metal contraption with the
hmm
holes in the bottom and yeah, yeah. It's
Well, I
just
think he must
I
have
don't
bought
know.
like a cheapo cotton candy machines because like I think the ones that
Yeah.
you see at like the
Oh, at fairs are different,
fairs,
but
they're
he had
they're
one of
they're
those you get at the
metal.
Walmart.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
of course that didn't work. It melted.
yeah, yeah. That's shocking. Um,
But yeah, but the machine, I have to watch the video again. But the machine he ended up using, I was like, it was closer to the one they used with the gears later in
hmm
the episode. But still, I noticed some things where I'm like, well, that's not accurate as much as I thought it would be to Senku's.
hmm Yeah. And then the villagers are introduced to cotton candy. They use the sugar crystals that have been made from when the wine burned. And um okay, I didn't love this scene when the girls were eating cotton candy, but a little bit, just a little bit fan servicey, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But it also was sweet too. Like they all loved it. And the village is like going crazy over it. Um, and this is when we learn that, of course, Senku knows that Homura is watching them. Um, and he gives her cotton candy too. It was sweet because at first he's like, yeah, like he has an ulterior motive. But then Ruri sees through him. He's like, no, I mean you just wanted to be nice
Yeah.
and
I mean, it's kind of
share
a,
something with someone.
yeah, it's a double-edged sword because on the one hand, it can be a method of persuasion. It can be a bribe to people who like sugary things. It could also be a message to Tsukusa's empire that, hey, we've got some cool stuff over here. Why don't you join us? But on the other hand, she's another modern timer, and the only modern timer he really has any contact with right now is Gen. So like just to
Hmm.
have another person who gets him on a more, I don't know, basic level could be, just reaching out to one of those people could be important to him.
Yeah, yeah. I'm with Rory. There's more underneath. He just doesn't want them to know that he feels things. And then we get, I don't know, this kind of threw me off, but also it was funny. We get like a Senku and Gen judging Ginro's cotton candy, making skills. And I didn't really understand what was happening, but
They
it
were
was
probably parroting some kind of Japanese like British Bake Off for I don't
yeah, no, that I mean
know.
that was my guess, but
The Great British Bake Off, Japanese version.
yeah. And then I think the reason that it's most notable to me is that it was like afterwards, um, they don't remember it was Gino that's like we don't have time for comedy bits or whatever.
Yeah.
And Gen is like, you guys know about comedy bits? And Seku's like, that's my dad.
Yes, and to go off of that, in the manga, the same thing happens. Uh, and Gino says, "I've had enough of this Nori Sakomi bit or whatever he calls it." And there's a side note in the manga. Nori Sakomi means playing your own straight man. So it's like a specific type of comedy. And Gen had the same reaction, like, you know what that is. And Senku's like, my stupid dad.
Still being a dad all
Yep.
these 3,000 years later. Um, and so they test out the reason that they made cotton candy first was to test their contraption. And it's lumpy because it's not being spun like consistently by Ginro and Kinro. And so they make a gear and they do it using Kohako's shield. She's very willing to give it up. She's like, "Oh yeah, here you go." And her dad I think won it in his grand bout and
Yeah.
he's devastated.
I
Um
thought that was a very sweet moment, though. I don't know. It kind of reminded me of my own relationship with my dad, where he's just like, "Oh, my little girl." He's not so, forthcoming with like the doting on my daughter kind of things, but there are moments when he's like, I remember when you were so little.
mhm.
And I'm not as brutal as Kohaku. I'm very sentimental. I would not destroy something like that on a whim. But I did like seeing that family dynamic between the two.
Yeah. I did too. And same. I'm a little bit more sentimental than that. And when sees the gear, he has an idea, and he tells Kasaki, who gets very excited. He this one I think is one of my favorite times when he loses all his
Explodes.
clothes. Yeah, I think he scarred Chrome and
I
everyone
love
else,
that
but
the little noise Chrome made, like he just did a ah. It was
yes.
great. Um, And so, Chrome and Koski run off to do whatever they're doing, and everyone's like, "Well, why is Chrome running away? We got so much work to do." But in the manga again says, "The rules say you have to let little scamps carry out their pranks without spoiling the surprise."
In the anime, he said something a little bit. I don't remember what he said, but it was kind of weird. I like this better.
Yeah.
He, oh man,
He's
I'm
like,
trying to. He,
let them
he's like,
play or something like
no,
that.
no, it was like let boys be boys or something like that. And I was like, okay,
Let boys play with their tools, something to that
yeah, it was it
effect.
was something.
And I was like, hmm,
I was like,
wanna
that.
phrase that differently, buddy?
Yep, yep. Whatever way he had phrased it, I was like, that could have been phrased a little bit better. But anyway, then we get like everyone is working. They have to like turn the gold threads.
Oh yeah, they
Um,
twist them together.
yep. And they need a lot of them. And then we also get like a very then we see Kasaki and Chrome working, and then I don't know, this is very cute scene of like Gen and Senku like sleeping and their like plans are like laid out in front of them
They
and they're like
passed
they're
out
working so hard.
mid-project.
Yep, it
Yeah.
was so cute. Um, and also that just like reminded me, like seeing them like so close, like as you mentioned this like earlier, but they're like the only two from the modern age that are in the village right now. So I feel like I think that they have a special bond
Yeah, that's
because,
why I brought it up earlier because you had mentioned that when we were writing up the show notes, and I think you're onto something there. Like Senku's got somebody he can talk video games and movies and tech
mm-hmm,
with. And like Gen's not into all the stuff that Senku's into, but he has that basic knowledge because I mean, Gen is older than Senku too, so he's like, "Oh yeah, I've been around the block. I know what you're talking about in some small way."
mm-hmm, yeah, I think they're good. I don't know, Senku just like has a special bond with like each person. Like,
Yeah.
it'll be interesting like we see it later, but like I would say Chrome is his like best friend in the village, but then he also has Taiju, who's his who was his best friend growing up. But like you
Yeah.
never feel like, oh, they're like vying
Vying
for
for
Senku's attention, or like they each have like a special connection with
yeah,
him.
and Kohaku was the first person he met outside of the people he knew, when he was first going into the village. I'm inclined to say that he and Chrome have like the most show oriented like what the bond that the show orients around most often is Senku and Chrome, I think, just
Mm-hmm.
because they're so juxtaposed in every single like intro in the show, and also just like the adventures they go on together. Senku is like when he's gonna do something, he's most likely to pick Chrome first to do it with him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I love it. So cute. Like he pretends like he doesn't care, but he really takes the time to make each person feel special, I guess. All right. And now Koski and Chrome reveal their creation, and they have made a water wheel.
Really
Um,
impressive.
it is. It's so impressive because they didn't know what it was. Like Chrome just had an idea and he's like, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah,
And then Senku saw it and he was like, wow, you made this without even knowing what it was? Like it's so great.
I think it was I told you this last night, but this was the moment like I already really liked Chrome. Obviously he's my favorite character in the whole show, but this was the moment where I was just like, man, this kid is smart. Like
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was creative and clever and he caught on quickly, but when he made this, I had like the reaction Senku had where it's like, holy smokes, man, you didn't have any concept of what this was, and this is something that took humanity a long time to get up to, and you just thought of it and you did it, and it
Mm-hmm.
worked.
Yeah, this is definitely, I think, at least that I can think of, like the most impressive thing that he does or has done. I
He does a
was I
lot of
re
stuff in the show.
he does, but I think the moment for me where I was like, oh, he's not just a lackey's the wrong word, but he's not just like following Senku around. He actually contributes something. Is when he defeated Magma, like when
Mm.
he made his little when he set his clothes on fire.
Yeah, because he
And
thought of making the lens like filling it with the water to
yep, to
yeah,
change the yeah,
concave
yep,
and convex, yeah.
yep.
Yeah, I would say another Chrome moment I like, but that would be getting into spoiler territory, so I'll hold off.
Yeah. Yeah, and Senku is very impressed, like I said, and now he's like, now we can make a hydroelectric power plant. So
Yeah.
no more of Kinro and Ginro like turning their
The
little
cranks.
things to generate electricity.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, now they've made it leaps and bounds.
Hmm.
And that's where it ends. Senku looking super cool.
Electricity crackling in the air. I was a little concerned when he started doing that.
He's fine.
Uh, all right, now that that's over, I have one little, I guess you could call animation note. It's a design thing that I was really I like the attention to detail and the little realistic touch, but Chrome said he was working 3 days straight on the water wheel, and when we see him crawl out of the woods. He looks rough and he's even got a little bit of stubble and I'm like, "You know what? Yeah, he's 16. He can grow a little bit of facial hair, maybe not much, but it's there." So, I don't know. It's just one of those little details that I was like, "Yeah, that's a good thing to add."
hmm
See manga stuff. There was another Mecha Senku Q&A, and it's what are Gen's magic skills? So we got to see a little bit of what he can do, but here's a more comprehensive list. He can do card guessing, fake. Birthday guessing, fake. Fortune telling, fake. Coin tricks, vanishing act, and vocal mimicry.
Which comes up later. And we saw him
Yes.
do earlier
Yes.
in this episode.
I think that's the most impressive thing. Like ventriloquists
hmm
are really impressive to me.
Yeah. Well, ventriloquist is more
Throwing your that's more
throwing
throwing
your
your voice,
voice.
but it's also like well, I guess impressionist is a better term than
Yeah. Yeah, no, that is I agree. It's always very impressive when somebody can make their voice sound like almost exactly like somebody else's. Like, how do you do that?
we're going to introduce another character. This one, he's more of a background character, but you know, he's in it enough that I thought I'd mention. Jasper, he is, I guess you could say he's Kokio's right-hand man, but he's like one of Ruri's guards, the one with white hair and the beard. And he's played by Patrick Carroll. He was additional voices in both Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood and Attack on Titan. Gale from Ace Attorney and Shishida in My Hero Academia. And tracking, Chrome said that's bad one time.
Awesome. So, yeah, so we kind of skipped August, but in September, we're going to do another science experiment and we are going to try making cotton candy.
I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, no, that's gonna be fun. I also love cotton candy, so
Yeah. You know what I want Senku to make so that we can make it is ice cream. Homemade ice cream.
mm. Wait, he hasn't done that yet?
No. And that's
What?
that's an experiment I've done before
Yeah,
because we used to do that in
I've done it
school.
before
So
too. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, we're gonna cotton candy. We're just gonna like make it at home. I'm not buying a machine.
no.
I found some YouTube videos that you can like do it like
And it's just sugar, so it
yeah.
should be simple in terms of the ingredients.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be fun. Um, book club.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're still in the Hunger Games. We're reading Catching Fire. We're like halfway through now. Um, which by the way, did just read the chapter that I I forgot to read. Um, it's it's good so far. I'm enjoying it. It's I don't know the like I'm fine with the pacing of it, but I'm also like it's not what I expected it to
Yeah.
be. Um,
I'm
um,
surprised because normally I don't like this sort of thing, but I'm kind of enjoying the politics in the books. I'm usually more of like the get me to the action kind of person, but this is kind of fascinating. It's it's kind of fascinating for the world building and for how the society works, and I'm also piecing together in my mind how they could take the society down.
hmm Yeah. Yeah. I've enjoyed that too. I'm mostly in it for the violence though. I'm just kidding. Well, half
The
kidding.
action scenes, you're in it for the action
I'm
scenes.
in it for the action, but also the outfits too. Ugh,
Yeah.
they're crazy. And I have not seen, you saw the first movie. I haven't seen any of them. So when we're finished, I will watch them. Um, so I'm hoping that the movies do them justice. I'm sure that most of our listeners have probably seen the movies or read the books because they were super popular a few years
You
ago.
know
And actually
what?
they're kind of like making a resurgence because of that
Yes.
one movie that came out last year.
Yeah.
Um,
I think what would do the outfits justice, I mean, live action would be the preferred, so you could see how the outfits would actually look. But you can do anything with animation.
what? You're a proponent of animation? That's shocking.
Although this would be the one case where I'd be like, if you can do it in live action, do it in live
Yeah,
action.
I
I
think
want to see the
in this
outfits.
case, yeah, like I would want to see it live action.
Like the selection series, I want to see live action solely for the
For that,
dresses.
yes, yes. I usually like I don't consider myself a person that's like, oh, dresses, but
Well, me neither, but the way they
I,
describe them in those books,
yeah,
I'm
they
like, I
sound
want to
so,
see that.
yeah, yeah. It's like hard to picture it in your mind,
Hmm.
but anyway, yes. So we finished. Also, we finished Windbreaker.
Yeah.
We will it be when the week that this episode comes out, we are going to have a bonus episode talking about Tokyo Revengers and Windbreaker and kind of comparing the two. So if you want our opinion, listen to that episode.
But
Um,
mostly about Tokyo Revengers, if we're
yes,
being
that is
honest.
true. We're mostly going to be talking about Tokyo Revengers. Um, and we just started Frieren.
Yeah,
Um,
very
we're only,
pretty,
yep.
beautiful music. I've already started listening to the soundtrack in my free time because it's like Lord of the Rings meets How to Train Your Dragon, and I'm here for it. Um, Yeah, we're watching it in dub because I'm always curious about which dub voice actors are playing which characters and all that. Um, and there's some new faces or voices, I should say. And I'm liking their depictions of the characters so far, even though we've only seen two episodes. But I
hmm
especially like the way Freerin sounds. She has a more like
hmm
deeper toned, mature voice, but not too deep.
hmm Yeah, I like it so far too. It's very it like makes me sleepy in a good way. Like
Comfortable.
it, yes, it makes yeah, it's like calming and
It's the comfort food of anime.
yeah, it is. That's a good way to describe it. Um, it's enjoyable, and I'm sure we will have more thoughts later.
Hmm.
But for now, that is the end of the episode. So, Megan, what's your favorite line?
Mine came from Kohaku when she was absolutely obliterating her dad's shield. No, it's not a big deal to me. Practicality first. I am practicality first, but sentimentality earns a spot on the totem pole too, so calm down, Kohaku, you monster.
hmm
And what about you, Meg?
Mine came from Senku when he said, "We don't really have the time to be worrying about him because you're all about to begin some hellishly grueling manual labor."
Awesome. I actually just got done watching on YouTube a panel with Aaron Dismuke on it, and he said something like one of his favorite parts of voicing Senku is how he gets to put people through the ringer, but in like a good way. He's like, it's like having a personal trainer. Like, this is gonna hurt, but you're gonna be better for it. So enjoy it. Get excited. It's that's accurate.
hmm And then what did we learn in this episode?
We learn that you can do things for others without the knowledge it will lead to anything. And that's in reference to how Senku gave Homura the cotton candy. There's no guarantee anything will come of that, that she'll change sides, that she'll have a different opinion about them. He just wanted to do it, maybe for no good reason, or maybe out of the goodness of his heart. But I think those gestures are important in life.
hmm And then who pushed the story forward?
Kuromen Kaseki for making a water wheel.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. That's all we've got. We will be back next week with another episode.
Yep, thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.